And welcome back, guys.
Transition. You have to put yourself live.
Oh, I thought you clicked it. Sorry, my bad. Okay, all right. And welcome back, guys. Last two segments we had, we're talking before focused on TCGs. Right now, we're gonna change course a little bit, and something that I think really definitely needs to be talked about, especially now where we are in the industry. So this is Steph from Triple C's, and I'm really glad that she could join us. It's fantastic to see now a lot of more women in the industry.
Yes.
And now, just not just in terms of collectors, right? In terms of vendors, social media presence, influencers. It's great to see that. What do you think has been like, especially recently, where we kind of see like a huge growth in a lot more women within the card collectible industry?
So I'm actually really happy to see a lot more women in the industry because I get this question a lot. I've been with my husband all the time, and the most frequent question I would say is they would ask my husband, how did you get your wife to vend with you and join you in this journey? And I would tell him, like, it's not that he got me into this. It's more so I kind of grew an interest in TCG.
Right.
And my daughter is actually the one that should be taking the credit for this because she's the one who actually got me back into TCG. I used to collect Pokemon when I was a child.
Right.
But I kind of grew out of it. But when my daughter got back into it, it kind of like brought back this nostalgic kind of like
fond memories.
Feeling. Yes.
Yeah.
So it was really nice, and I enjoyed it a lot. So I'm loving the fact that I can see a lot more women in TCG, in the industry, in this hobby. Don't feel intimidated because there's a lot more of us out there than you think.
That being said, with a lot more women being involved, obviously comes with its set of challenges.
Yes.
and issues and things. At the end of the day, it's still a very male predominantly, governed rules and of men within the industry, right? So, with that, what has been the obstacles do you find for women within the industry now?
So I would say the biggest obstacle is getting the respect from a predominantly male industry. A lot of times I would go up to vendors and other collectors, and they would kind of treat me as if I don't really know my cards or what my cards are worth. They would give me the opposite value, and I tested this theory out with my husband where I would take some cards to a vendor and I would ask them to please evaluate my cards, and I just wanted to get their opinion, and they would give me their values, but it's a much different value than what my husband would receive. Obviously mine being a lot lower in terms of what the value of the cards would be. And I mean, I can't say that that's all vendors, so it's not all of them. There's a few of them that would give you some off values, but there are some vendors who are there and they're gonna help you learn along the way. You just have to be careful and know your cards, know your worth, and kind of like do your research along the way, because the last thing you want is just not knowing.
Right. So it's kind of like the assumptions just because you're a woman that you don't know what enough about the industry, so they try to take advantage of you in that sense of what they can benefit from assuming that you don't know what you know, right? It's kind of sad to me because like one of the women like I respect the most is like Carlos's mom.
Yes.
And she has such a huge wealth of knowledge of cards and not just the industry but the cards itself. And I always joke around like she knows more than 80% of the people here at the show, and it's but even her experience and seeing that they just see, oh, she's just like a old lady that doesn't know her stuff, and it's really aggravates me to see that it's like she could run circles around you. You know what I mean? And for a lot of these people having those assumptions take place, it's kind of sad.
It is sad, and I just want people to know that, us as women, we can actually help you grow this hobby just as much as men can help grow the hobby. We are just as valuable. If not, we can add a much more value because we can actually bring more women into this industry that didn't know existed and didn't know that they were welcomed in here.
Right. It's like a widening of a demographic,
Exactly,
right?
Yes. And I see a lot more younger generations. There's a lot more kids, and there's girls involved. And if they receive the same respect as the male prospects, this industry is just going to keep growing. And we need them to help this industry grow.
And I think that's why, and the audience are probably at this point are sick of me talking about how much I love TCGs, but I think that's the aspect of TCG because it brings young kids to it, especially young females, to engage in a game or start a collection and understand just the beginnings of how this works, right? And it's great to see because you don't see as much as sports cards anymore, just simply because the price of sports cards, I feel product-wise, you kind of start to lose a generation of new collectors. Like the days of buying a $3-4 pack of sports cards, it's almost long gone now, right?
Yes.
And
Very
and that's why I love it, and especially even our shows, we see the kids, we see the parents and everything, and they're collecting this together. And that young female, it's just it's clutching at her cards, and it's amazing.
You know, and I'll never forget this. My daughter, she's the one who brought me back into this hobby. It's such a family-friendly, hobby. It's a great way to start.
Right.
You can get your kids, your grandkids, grandparents, parents, children, nephew, nieces, everyone. It's for everyone. TCG, that's what I love about it. Sports, I can see that it is for everyone as well. But sports is it's a much more different market.
Right.
But versus for me, TCG is so family friendly.
Yeah, it's great.
It's incredible.
Yeah. So mentioning the obstacles and issues and challenges for women, what do you think as an industry or as a community of collectors, how can we improve this or make things better so that women can come into this industry, in this marketplace, and feel comfortable and strengthen them? Because, like I said, there's so much things that women can bring to it, right? So what are the things that you think can definitely improve and change or maybe suggest strategies of what we could do together to make it better?
So in terms of strategy is respect. Please give us the same respect that you would give any other male hobbyist out there. We deserve it. And also, just as women, just know exactly what your cards are worth. Go out there with confidence. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to go up and just ask the vendor and say, hey, are you willing to trade this for this? And know the value of your card. If you know your value, it'll be a lot easier to negotiate and get that same respect. Because when you go up to a vendor and you know your cards, they are not going to try to cheat you out of it. Versus if you just go up and say, hey, I have no idea what this card is worth, or I have no idea what this hobby is, and I'm just looking for some pointers on what my card is valued at.
Right.
You need to have a starting point. If you know just a little bit of background about your cards, it'll be a lot easier. Not saying that you can't just go up to a vendor and say, hey, can you give me some pointers? Some vendors will give you pointers, and I'm one of them, but you won't get that from everyone. If everyone can just work harder on giving everyone kind of the same respect that you want to receive, this industry will grow a lot.
But anything that you feel that we could do better as a community, as a whole, that, like I said, improves the whole situation for female collectors and vendors? You know? What can we do? As a guy like me, how can I kind of contribute the change that's necessary just to have women feel more comfortable in this space?
I would say just respect. That's it. that's really is like what it is just respect us,
Right.
give us the same value as you would to any other male hobbyist out there. I think that's mostly what women are looking for is being able to trade, buy and sell the same way as any other male hobbyist. I think that's basically it. It's just gaining that respect from other male hobbyists out there.
Right. And it's a great message. It's more of a, it's, usually for things like this, we don't really talk about like gender issues and everything,
Yes.
but it is kind of coming to a spotlight, as more like females getting into, like I said, not just collectors, but in the vendor space and influencers and all that. So to me, it's amazing what I'm seeing, and I would definitely love to see like more women to not be afraid. Like if you love cards, or you love collecting, you know what I mean? Like as Steph said, you know what I mean? Have that bravery that it's something that you enjoy, but like go for it and don't be intimidated by by all this. And like I said, we all know it's a predominantly male industry, but hey, it's we all know
females coming out.
exactly.
And today, I've actually seen a lot more females than I have in the past.
Amazing.
And it's amazing to see. I have women coming up to me and say, "Hey, I'd love to trade this card," and this is what this industry is about: is
Right.
buying, selling, and trading. Me as a vendor, I'm always looking to trade my cards. If you have a card that you want to trade me for, and I'm interested in it, why not?
Exactly. So, speaking of which, want to share where they can find you with Triple C's and socials or whatnot?
Yeah, so we're actually a marketplace vendor of CSC. You can find us at the expo today at booth 611.
And you guys are on Instagram? You want to share?
If you want to follow me, it's Stephanie, its.Stephanie on Instagram. And you can also find me on the Triple C's webpage, and as well as their Facebook page.
So, thank you
And
so
Crest
much.
Collectibles.
Thank you so much. I know there's more of like a serious tone for this one, but we appreciate your insights and kind of your I guess your encouragement for a lot of like women to come check this out.
Yes, and thank you, Brown, because I love that I was able to do this interview and bring awareness to the hobby about women being in this hobby.
All right. Thank you so much,
Thank
too.
you.
All right. And we'll be back at 6 o'clock with Jeremy Lee to talk about Sports Card Live. See you then.